Hello, my friends. Welcome back to week 6 of the 5th season here at the Cobalt Wins League. Tonight's two-game set is between Jacinto, 6699, who are still looking for their first win of the season, and Polymorphed, who are currently sitting more towards the top of the table in second place with 3 wins and 2 draws. The battle for seeding is well and truly underway here in Division 1 with only 1 week left to play in the regular season. Coming to you live from the CWL studio on this beautiful Sunday night, my name is Crewman, and I am joined once again by Zathos for tonight's action. How are you tonight, Z? What are you expecting from this match?
I'm doing incredible, man. I'm having a good day. Do you know what? I got myself back to Masters, so of course it's going to be a good day. Just a Bard main having a bit of fun. But no, talking about this game, it should be very interesting because if we're going to be honest, Polymorphed should get the win here. However, Jacinto have been looking kind of scary. They've actually got a replacement on their hands. They've replaced their jungler, going from the player of... Quickly, give me a second to find it. It is now... Siama, I'm not too sure how to say his name, but he will be replacing Pato, the old jungler. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this change is going to be affecting it. Because I'm just going to say Siama is a Masters player going from, for CMO to be new compared to a Plat 2 they had before. I feel like this is really going to change the dynamic of them. And even if they don't have an opportunity now to get themselves back and into playoff contentions, this could be a really good start of something new for them.
Yeah. You know, always the ability to start building up that synergy, potentially looking towards next season. As you were just mentioning, Zathos, we do believe that it is no longer possible for Jacinto to make it into the playoff bracket at this, given their unfortunate lack of wins at this point in the season. But certainly, you know, bringing in the new player, starting to build up that synergy could be really valuable looking towards potentially the next season of the CWL. We are going to go ahead and hop now into our first draft of the night. We are going to have Polymorphed over on the blue side and Jacinto on the red. Taking a look at these bans, what kind of champions are you expecting to be very high priority in this one, Zathos?
Well, I'm going to be really interested focusing towards the Jinx. It may not be most priority in this, in this meta right now. However, Scarecrown has been quite prominent on this champion, and also Pasted does enjoy it as well. So, of course, they have banned it away, to be expected. Now, a lot of priority picks are up. Something like the Zeri can be included if they want to. Instead, they're going to go for something like a Viego, try to get something that's a little bit more of a late game insurance. The Zeri has been picked on the opposite side. With this Viego, I'd love to see maybe a Lissandra, maybe something for a little bit of lockdown to allow this Viego to get ahead. Instead, they're going for a little bit more of the aggression in the bot lane and getting the Lucian maybe paired with Yuumi. I'm not the biggest fan of this because of the recent changes to Yuumi to make it where she has a buddy system now, where she has to stick on one champion, and if she does take the Lucian early on in the game, whenever she wants to move to Viego, she won't be as potent as she used to be. So instead, Senna would be something better, Nami is the best pick, and they decide to lock it in.
Yeah, I have to imagine, Zathos, that the Yuumi, really the main consideration there was possibly trying to deny it from the Zeri, not wanting to give over that really powerful duo, but as you were just alluding to, it doesn't really feel as strong with the Lucian as it used to, so I do think that the Nami makes a little bit more sense, and it's actually not going to be the Yuumi or the Lulu or anything like that that's going to be paired up alongside the Zeri. It's going to be the Nautilus instead that does get locked away for the Jacinto support. So we do have parity across the two teams, both sides going for jungle and bot lane on this first rotation, as is so common in the metagame these days, which does mean we'll be looking at the solo lanes in the second phase of bans.
Yeah, no, I would have really liked a Lulu instead of the Nautilus, only because it just pairs super well with Zeri and it's just so strong in this late game. However, the Nautilus does give them more engaged tools, so I can't blame them for really having that. Now I'm expecting maybe the top laner to get picked here, and there's so many different picks to go for. Gragas, I'm very surprised again through this whole entire draft. As Varus is getting hovered here, I'd be quite surprised they're going to pick it. That would most likely get towards this mid lane. But I don't really see Varus mid to get picked up, so instead they have decided to focus around this mid lane and pick up the Ahri, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, it's going to be the Ahri and then the Zoe. The very quick response coming in from Matt over on the side of Polymorphed. It's an interesting choice into the Ahri. It's not really a matchup I'm too familiar with, but clearly something that Matt is very confident in. And the Aatrox is going to be the blind pick in the top lane for Polkri.
I mean, Zoe's just mostly a safe pick in the mid lane against the Ahri. It can't really do
Mm.
too much against her because Ahri has so many dash abilities. So if you're able to get a Sleepy Trouble bubble, you are able to lock someone up, and that's perfectly with Viego because you're able to burst someone down, get the passive onto this Viego again to turn it into that. So not a bad choice at all. As the last top laner will get decided to be the set into the Aatrox, which isn't too bad. And it's looking like a very good side laner 1-3-1 comp coming out from Polymorph.
Yeah, definitely some side laning potential with the Aatrox. I don't think Zoe is necessarily going to be all that comfortable in the side lane. Definitely some danger of getting collapsed on. Ahri Lee Sin is very mobile duo. Definitely have the potential to chase people down in any kind of extended lane. But definitely, I think a lot of snowball potential also on the side of Polymorph with what they've been able to put together. You know, particularly, of course, that bot lane, Lucian Nami. We know all about that. And then the Viego as well, a very, very snowball-y pick there in the jungle. But I do have to wonder that it doesn't really feel like the composition on Jacinto is going to be very easy to punish necessarily in the early game. You know, Set is really strong up there in that top side, and Zeri should be able to play very, very safe, and we all know how difficult it is to pin down that champion, so I'm a little bit worried that Polymorph might not be able to get their snowball rolling early.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really hard for Polymorph to get the snowball rolling because when you have the Viego, you need stuff that wants to fight early, and that is what his team has. But I'm just trying to see this late game team fight of you want Zoe to poke someone out, you want Viego to go in, quickly get someone out, Lucian Nami to burst someone down. It feels a little bit hectic all over the place. They need to mechanically be outplaying this season, otherwise it's going to be so hard to win this game.
Yeah, I do kind of feel that way as well. The side of Polymorph, this draft does feel like it needs a little bit of an early advantage to really be effective moving towards any kind of mid or late game. But it does have the potential to find that early advantage. You know, that potential is there. Just because it's not going to be easy doesn't mean that it's impossible. And I do think that they have some options that they can look towards. You know, maybe trying to play around this Lucian Nami lane, and maybe Zeri and Nautilus are just a little bit overextended. And Nautilus, you know, this champion is fairly well known for when you kind of start dying on Nautilus, you tend to keep dying. The champion just isn't really that tanky, and can be caught out of position relatively easily. So overall, Zathos, what do you think about these two compositions now that we see them fully formed? You know, definitely maybe a little bit more safety on the side of Jacinto, just in general. But do you think either team really found a big advantage in the draft phase for this first game?
It's a bit even on both sides, I would really say, but I would say Jacinto has a little bit of an edge, mostly because of just the simple engage that they have of Ahri trying to go in, quickly get someone and get out, and then with the Nautilus re-engage afterwards, especially with something like the Dredge line, that just bounces and it will not stop until it knocks someone up, and there's already 4 squishy members on the side of Polymorph. It's going to be really hard to play against that. However, they do still have the Lucian Nami in this early game, so they can punish this Nautilus if he misses a hook or two.
Absolutely. Definitely, I think ease of execution is on the side of Jacinto with the composition that they have put together. Definitely some really strong team fighting, but Polymorphed have been the stronger team so far this season, and the Zoe in the mid lane, a little bit of a wild card. We'll see what Matt is able to get done if Polymorphed are going to be able to continue to deny Jacinto from getting any Nexi this season. Don't go anywhere, guys. Week 6 of the CWL coming at you real soon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome onto Summoner's Rift for our first game of the night. Once again, Polymorphed on the blue side, Jacinto, 66.99 on the red. Going for a little bit of an invade to start things off. Jacinto, the Lee Sin, moving in, and also the Viego, but he's going to get caught out. The Dredge Line connects, and he's the Ignite burning down the last auto. First blood for Scarecrown on the Zeri. Jacinto off to a fantastic start.
New jungler, new game, new lease of life, I have to say. Take a look at Jacinto. Hasn't destroyed the Nexus just yet, but they are on their way to it. I'm not going to lie. I'm rooting for Jacinto here. I want them to get their first win of the season because they may not be able to get through to playoffs like we said before. However, they can affect Polymorph standards. There's even a world where if they win the series here, Polymorph could get taken out of contentions for being top 3. Yes, as we actually have a sponsor for once in the Cobalt Wins League, which I know, guys, I know, it's very impressive to see. We can help really support everybody here. All of this money will get used to try and make this scene a whole lot bigger. So our sponsor is In-House Q. So have you ever heard of Champions Q? Imagine that, but in a Discord server. So it just allows you to connect with other players and allows yourself to get into scrims a little easier. So if you guys are part of the Cobalt Wins League Discord, which I'm guessing you are, if you're going to be here watching the stream, you should take a look at that. There should be an announcement hit soon or already available for you to take a look at it. So make sure to take a look at that. And Creamer, my man, are you okay? It's looking like we are having a few technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's Scarecrow taking a lot of damage there at level 1. Yeah. Yeah, I am unfortunately doing a little bit of lagging here. If it continues to be a problem, I may have to try and fix the internet. Hopefully it's going okay right now. But yeah, definitely. Big shout outs to that sponsor. Good. Apto Fangirl in the mid lane, definitely in a lot of trouble. Sonic Wave going to connect, Resonating Strike there as well. Apto Fangirl flashing away. Looks like the Zoe may be able to survive as the Sleepy Trouble Bubble will connect, and Zoe is going to be able to scoot out of there. Yeah, have had some close calls in the bottom lane as well, but still just that one kill onto the Zeri to start things off. Do love the support for Jacinto. Of course, everybody loves a good underdog story as Zombie Boss. Taking a lot of damage in this top lane as well. Neither top lane are running Ignites at those, so you know, those all-ends maybe not quite as threatening, but certainly some very low HP bars here.
Yeah, no, if they had Ignite in the top lane, either of those top laners would have got their first kill. However, the enemy were teleported back, so I cannot blame them for taking TP in these instances. But Jacinto looking really strong, winning out on almost every lane, having all the push pressure. So I can definitely see the way the jungler is changing this team around.
Yeah, definitely. The Lee Sin been very, very active so far. It will be a trade of the Scuttle Crabs. Viego going to take the South Crab. Lee Sin will be able to secure the crab in the topside river. So, Q3. Flash still available for both of these guys as well in the top lane. So, definitely edge of our seats up here.
Yeah, no, Simply needs to be really careful in the matchup in the top lane, mostly because if it goes slightly too close and gets pulled in, Set's Haymaker is going to be destroying him, as actually Procreate is going to be spotted on a ward, so he isn't able to make a thing. It's Lee Sin in mid.
Here comes Lee Sin once again. No flash anymore on the Zoe. It's going to be the easy ward hop forward into the kill. Lee Sin is, in fact, the one to pick up the last hit. 2-0 now on the scoreboard for Jacinto. And, you know, we were just singing his praises, and once again, this new jungler making it happen.
Yeah, no, CMR coming in with a really good gank, able to pick it up with a hook in the bot lane.
Oh, yeah, that's an Aqua Prison down onto the Zeri. Will it be enough? Pest flashing forward is able to lock down that kill. Very close exchange. Nautilus will be able to finish the job onto the Lucian, as Paste also will go down. A 1-for-1 in the bottom side, but that does favor Polymorphed, as Lucian was able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, but you also have to take a look at this wave. If Nautilus is able to push that out, that's so much CS game miss, but instead he does opt for the back, as there is just more fighting in this top lane.
Conqueror stacked, yeah. Haymaker, oh, the flash forward into the shield, and then Lee Sin is here. Sia once again exactly where he needs to be. Lee Sin should be able to finish this one off. It's going to be Zombie Boss moving back in as well, and he will, in fact, get the last punch to secure the kill onto the Aatrox. And Jacinto continuing to build up their lead. There was that one kill given over now in the bottom lane, but for the most part, they have been having a run at this early game.
Remember, Polymorph is a powerhouse in the Cobalt's wins league. For them to be this far behind is completely shocking, and especially to a team who hasn't even won a game yet. So really well played to Jacinto for getting themselves in a great position.
And another layer as well, of course, are these drafts. You know, the draft of Polymorphed is more focused around this early game. The fact that they're behind, definitely very concerning for the squad, and very good news, of course, for Jacinto fans.
Yeah, no, looking
Still
like
waiting to see what this Zoe's going to be able to do, though. Moving in with the Trouble Bubble, but Ahri has the Spirit Rush, so Pirates shouldn't really be in all that much danger. Oh, Aqua Prison gonna land. That's gonna set up for the Spectral Maw. Nautilus stunned up. He's not tanky enough to survive this, I don't think. One more auto attack. It's gonna be Pokri who picks it up with the Blade Stab on the Viego. So now Polymorphed picking up another kill for themselves. Only onto the support, but still could give them enough priority to look for this first dragon, Zathos.
Yeah, no, we were singing the praises to Jacinto, but a few mistakes coming out. A little bit of an overstep from Edward on the Nautilus just allows Procreate to pick up the first kill for himself, and then now they're going to turn that over towards the Drake. Lee Sin taking a little look, seeing what he can do, but you do not want to go in on that, especially when they're three the members. But Nami doesn't flash.
They could look for the Nami here. Nami does have flash. We'll get over the walls. That's going to be all right, but they do force the Summoner spell off the enemy support.
Yeah, no, really well played from the side of Polymorph to get themselves back into the game, having to use the flashes both in their bot lane, so it could be quite dangerous. Lee Sin is going to be having a kick available early on, so I'm expecting him to be roaming around this bot lane too and trying to make a play.
Yeah, could possibly mean that would a play like that might sacrifice, rather, the Rift Herald, which is spawning very, very soon. So Lee Sin is, in fact, actually going to be pathing up towards the top side, as is the Viego, to contest that top side neutral objective. Definitely, Jacinto are going to really want to lock this one down, if possible, to make the trade of the early neutrals a reality. If Polymorph are able to get both, that's always really, really great news for a team that's able to make that happen. And it looks like they are onto the objective now. Doesn't seem like Jacinto are going to be able to move over in time to contest.
Yeah, Mattia moving for his team, making it sure that they are able to get this. But this guy give an opening for a engage on the bot lane, but instead going top.
Oh, Showstopper in. Zombie Ball is going to look for this one. Lee Sin is here for the fall of the Heartbreaker in. It's not enough as Viego goes down and Zombie Ball splashing out. Will stay alive. Charm not going to land. Simply Magic still trying to run away, but it's not going to work out for the Aatrox as Lee Sin picks up a double kill. And Jacinto, they may have lost the objective, but they do win the fight.
That was heartbreaking for Aatrox in the top lane, because Zombie survived on a sliver of HP, wasn't able to get a reset on his ultimate, heal up, and he may be even able to turn the fight from then. But yeah, may have been able to pick up the Rift Herald as Flash in the mid lane.
Oh, Pirates burning down. Yeah, he's just gone. That damage from Fangirl, the Sleepy Trouble Bubble into the Paddle Star, underneath the turret even, and Pirates flashing, but not enough to save the Ahri. Really great move from Apto Fangirl.
Yeah, no, just again, that Sleepy Trouble Bubble. And then the flash away allowed Zoe to get more damage on her Q, just barely enough to get the kill. And also loses some XP in the mid lane and some gold. So now it may go from a little bit bad to a lot worse.
Zoe just picking up that Dark Seal, significantly up in CS over the Ahri as well, about 20 CS. Right now, Zoe in the lead. So definitely actually looking quite good in the mid lane. Maybe the Zoe a little bit of a comfort pick. I actually didn't have a chance to take a look at the op.gg there, but it does seem like Fangirl is very, very comfortable on this particular pick. Certainly winning out, at least in the 1v1 thus far.
Yeah, Procreate is maybe looking psych in the bot lane. He does have to Rift Herald, and if he's able to get the Lucian Army ahead, this could be a great way to get themselves back into this game. But with CMR actually smelling something, he is going to come to the bot lane as well. Could be a 3v3.
Ooh, and Viego's... No, he's going to stay. The depth charge is going to come out onto the Lucian. Lee Sin is here to try and follow up. Lucian going to flash away. to make sure that he does not get hit by that Sonic Wave. Could have been a flash kick angle for the Lee Sin if the Sonic Wave had connected. So Paste, you know, did have his own jungler there for the counter gank, but wanted to play that one as safe as possible. Do respect it.
They were able to pick up the flash at least, so Pasted would not have that up for the next fight. And it all came down to one minion, save Mr. President. That minion said as he did take the hook for Pasted, so the re-engage was not able, so they were able to get themselves out.
Yeah. Paste able to stay alive down there. But certainly the Lucian not finding the early lead that he would want to. It's really why you pick the champions for that early lane control. And
Siamaj?
the first dragon, they're going to be in trouble now. Here comes Siamaj once again. The Sonic Wave will connect this time, but that was a very nice Aqua Prison from the Nami. It's not going to be enough, though, to save the AD carry. Bought some time, but there was just nowhere for the Lucian to go in that situation. Lucian behind him, Nautilus in front. Oh, that's going to be a showstopper. Into the turret, and the minion wave is gone for Magic. Will take a turret shot, but able to walk it out. And Aatrox still holding on to his own ult and flash. So Magic actually doing perfectly fine up here.
Yeah, simply in a very good position as bot lane is just fight after fight after fight. They just can't stop.
Oh, yeah, here comes Lee Sin. Knows there's no Lucian in the area right now. And Palkri just in position to defend. Second dragon spawning very, very soon, Zathos. But Lucian has respawned, has made his way back over. And they don't... Okay, Ahri is going to be able to teleport back to the mid-turret, actually. But Zoe will have first move. This feels a little bit risky for Jacinto.
Yeah, Mattia isn't there, so it's going to be a 3 versus 2 if they want to take this fight. Instead, they do opt to not take it.
Secure the dragon. Yeah, Viego going to get knocked up by the depth charge, though. Can Palkri get the reset? The Heartbreaker not going to land. Does Lee Sin go back in? Yes, he will, but he goes down. Viego not able to pick up the body in time, though. There's going to be another Sleepy Bubble connecting onto the Ahri as Fangirl gets another kill. Now Edward on the run, trying to make it out. Not going to happen. The Piercing Light locks it down for Pasted as the top laners are scrapping once again, each on a sliver of HP. Minion Wave coming in. Scarecrow going to be in trouble as the dive is set up by a Polymorphed, and they make it happen very, very clean. They even give the kill over to the Lucian. Nicely done. Going in with the Q2. Not quite enough range there for the Aatrox. Magic going to have to back away. But on the other side of the map, in that bottom side, Polymorphed, they lost the dragon this time around, but they certainly did come away with more kills.
Yeah, this top lane is just trying to wail at each other, and take a look just how low set is. Oh, the Haymaker just isn't enough damage. Lee Sin!
Oh, Lee Sin is here, Siamaj. Oh, once again. Oh, Simply Magic is just typing jungle diff in the chat right now. Lee Sin is there every single time the Aatrox is going for that kill onto the set. Oh, another paddle star onto the Ahri as well.
Yeah, no, Zoe getting quite a lot of chip damage, and that whole entire fight just came down to staying for a little bit too long, because after they got themselves the Drake on the side of Jacinto, they should just got out, should have been completely out of there. But Procreate knew that his support was coming in, his AD and his mid laner, so he thought, let's take this fight, let's go, let's go, let's go. And with one Sleepy Trouble Bubble, able to get Pirates completely out the fight, changing the whole entire thing, getting themselves right back into this game.
Yeah, it was almost even better for Polymorph, right? If Pokri had actually been able to pick up the body of the Lee Sin before going down and had gotten that reset, I don't think Polymorph actually would have lost
they go to a child, right?
Skirmish, but still very favorable. Oh, Magic is in a lot of trouble. This is the 4-man dive coming onto the Aatrox, and they brought the entire kitchen sink, all of the contents there, just thrown at Magic, and Magic doesn't really seem like he was ready for it.
This man is 0-4. Magic is not having the best game because he's been having these one-on-one fights and actually still contesting, making Zombie work for these kills. But when you have the full enemy team hunting for you 24/7, there's not much you can do. On the opposite side, we do have Polymorph picking up the Rift Herald and taking away the top side jungle. So, you know, a good adaptation, seeing if your top laner dies, try and go for something on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, good cross mapping here as another Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands in the mid lane, but Ahri going to be safe, at least for now. Herald will be dropped to try and get this tier 1 turret nice and low. Not sure if they're going to be able to finish it off right now, as we do see Zombie Boss rotating down from the top lane. Could be going for a collapse angle here. The turret will fall in mid. Now they're looking to turn actually onto the flanker, but Zombie Boss is pretty strong. So the turn actually not going to come through. They don't want to hard engage onto the set, who would easily have been able to turn that one around on him. So just the turret and then the back away for Polymorph.
Yeah, no, Set just trying to find anything he can. Unfortunately, cannot is able to get to top lane without missing anything. And I love plays coming out from top laners like this, who realise my wave isn't anywhere near me. What can I do? Going towards this mid lane, going to try anything for his team.
Yeah, it was a good look from Zombie Boss. Not able to find anything, of course, but still, the possibility was there.
Yeah, top lane is just brawl after brawl after brawl.
Yeah, they're really going at it. Just no rest at all between these two players, just constantly trading up here. You know, Simply Magic, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, has been going for these 1v1s, but unfortunately for the Aatrox, they have in fact not been 1v1s, because Set's friends, more often than not, have been in position to help him out. And as a result, the Set doing quite comfortably in this matchup against the Aatrox.
Yeah, one adaptation we actually see coming out from the... Yeah, one of the adaptations we see coming out from this top laner is going to be a Black Cleaver on this Aatrox. A side that I wasn't expecting to be coming out. Does give your team a little bit more armor shred, especially when you have 3 Qs to try and hit it on absolutely everyone. So this set is going to be quite squishy in these big team fights.
Yeah, it does get pulled back by the Infernal Chains there. It means the Aqua Prison also going to land. But no more CC, and the Haymaker Shield will dissuade any further commitment from Polymorphed. Dragon 5 seconds away from making its way into the pit. And currently, position around that pit, held by Jacinto. Looking to hang on to that position as the Dredge Line will land on the Aatrox. A Death Charge onto the Viego. Can they burst him down? The Heartbreaker comes in. It's going to be Pokri getting that first reset of Zombie Boss into the back line, though. Can he finish off the Lucian? It's not quite going to happen. So the Viego will fall. There was just him. It was the battle of the two divers. Both divers do go down. Both AD carries still alive. Pyrus trying to change that. But the Aqua Prison going to land. Yari CC'd, taken down. Solution still alive, and Scarecrown is going to get dunked by Magic. And in a very tight battle, it will in the end be Polymorph with the superior team fighting, and they will take their second dragon.
Yeah, they used all of their utility to make sure Magic would be completely useless in these fights, but he's already at first item. I'm not sure if it was really worth putting all of your resource and getting this player behind. And on top of this, Epto getting an amazing Sleepy Trouble bubble onto Pyrus, meaning that he had no chance of killing Pasted, completely changing the turn of the fight. And that's exactly what we will
take a look at this one. Walk us through it.
Yeah, no, we can see Set in the backline just trying to keep the team far away. However, there's just too much coming out from Viego, getting everybody squishy enough, and this is where Magic is really able to shine, as nobody is able to do enough damage towards him. Him making sure that CMI isn't able to do anything, and this Sleepy Trouble bubble onto the Yari, making sure that he isn't able to kill Pasted with the final kill coming out. Really well played.
Live, we do have it, an attempted collapse onto Fangirl. Zoe potentially in trouble here as the Sonic Wave going to connect. The strike will resonate. And a big shutdown will go over to Sia on the Lee Sin. 5-1-5 for the new Jacinto jungler, making an excellent showing in their first game here of the CWL. Really good stuff, but will it be enough? They are about 2,000 gold behind on the side of Jacinto, and did, of course, lose that last dragon as well. So the Lee Sin by himself not going to be enough, and it really felt to me, Zathos, in that last team fight, like the side of Jacinto, they just weren't really together. Everybody kind of had their own idea of how they wanted to play that fight out, and it was just a little bit more cohesive on the side of Polymorph. They were able to keep the Lucian alive, like you said, and then they were able to kind of just clean up once the dive did fail from the side of Jacinto as a teleport into the top lane to try and set up a play onto the Aatrox, but it's not really going to work out, as Magic can just kind of world ender himself to safety, as, ooh, just short on the Sonic Wave.
Yeah, Magic soaking up so much damage to a team, even getting a teleport out, and I think they may even be looking for a dive. Poor Magic, he cannot catch himself a break. Well, we'll have to see what his team is going to be doing around this. They could maybe go for mid lane.
Here they come once again. They really are targeting Magic up here, but all of the skill shots are going to miss. Literally everything misses at Aatrox's K.
Yeah, you wanted cohesion, and that is cohesion coming out from Jacinto, having 4 of their members all on the same page. However, because they aren't able to find it, just allows the rest of the side of Polymorph to just push this mid lane, push this bot lane, and still so much waves. If you keep losing these plays like this and not getting the lead, it's going to be really difficult. Because what did he lose? He's still able to farm up. He's still able to defend his tower. He's very happy with how this is going.
Got the flash. And Lee Sin's coming back again to try and finish the job. The Facebreaker will connect onto the Aatrox. Wonder available this time around. And Magic, you know, picked up a couple of kills in that last fight. The Aatrox is a little bit strong. And guess who's here? It's Fangirl now, finally. Aatrox has a friend to defend him. And now Viego coming in as well. Spectro Maw gonna lock down the set. Zombie Boss will be the one who falls. Oh, man. It's been such a heavy commitment from the side of Jacinto to try and get their top laner ahead, but now it has backfired. Zombie Boss in the death chamber for 25 more seconds, and Baron has been started up. Oh, that's asleep under the jungler over the wall. Lee Sin potentially in trouble. We'll be able to ward hop towards his support. We'll be able to stay safe for now, and it looks like Polymorph, they're going to peel off the objective. They're going to look for the fight. The culling comes out. Pyro's running out of HP, and Pasted just mows him down with the bullets. Now it's another Trouble Bubble landing from Fangirl. It's going to be Nautilus stunned up, flashed away, trying to stay alive. Looks like the support from Jacinto will survive for now. Scarecrow popping the Spark Surge for the movement speed. Able to kite back for now. It's going to be a kill now onto the jungler of Polymorphed, and now it's Jacinto turning around this fight. The Lee Sin will fall. The Dredge Lane not quite going to connect. Fangirl on the run. The Tidal Wave, great for Peel, and that will keep the mid laner safe. It is a 2-for-2 in the end, as Jacinto fighting back, keeping themselves in it.
No, amazing turn coming out from Jacinto because they used everything on Pirates. Polymorph had nothing left in the tank, so Edward gets a nice dredge line onto Procreate, taking him out almost instantly, really turning this around. But it's still so scary because of Fangirl hitting so many trouble bubbles. Just if you take a look at this replay, you'll just see how many he's able to hit as we are on the back end of the fight. It was looking so good for the side of Polymorph. 4 versus 3. Mattia not actually with the team. Bit of a mistake coming out. Procreate just getting chunked out by the Zeri, and then here comes the re-engage with the teleport. Too much coming out, and Zeri is trying to finish the kill off onto the Lucian, just not able to. Sten is gonna end there.
Yeah, Jacinto is 14-14 on the scoreboard. It's a very even game that we have on our hands. Not necessarily what we were expecting from two teams that are so disparate in the standings, but Jacinto are playing very, very well, playing up to the level of their opposition, and now they are looking for their second dragon. It's down to about 50%. Teleport coming in. It's going to be Aatrox joining the fight. Dredge Line a little bit early. World Ender pops. Edward is going to be running rapidly out of HP at the start of this fight. And that means Pokeri has a very, very early reset. Picks up the Nautilus body track. And go instantly. Magic on the front line. So much healing for the Aatrox. And he's still going there looking for more. Viego keeps resetting. And Jacinto, they were doing so well, but biting off there a little bit more than they could chew. The engage just wasn't quite clean enough. And Polymorphed, they will ace them. And they'll take everything on the map.
Yeah, no, the dredge line coming a little bit too early from Edward, not hitting anyone. So it allows Magic to just stay alive as Dragon will finally get taken from the side of Polymorph. We'll take a quick look at this fight where everything went wrong. So it's looking good at the start, trying to find a pick, but then you allow the reset to come out onto the Viego. So then he's going to be able to in the front line. And the healing, there's just so much coming out from this Aatrox. And he's been such a useful pick, even though they put him so far behind.
Yeah, I mean, they tried so hard to keep Magic down in this one, but it just has not worked out. The Aatrox is still doing so much work, doing such a great job of frontlining in these fights, and all he really needs to do is make sure that Pokeri can get that initial reset and make sure he can create space for Fangirl and Pace to get out the damage, and he's been doing a great job of it so far.
Yeah, and one member I need to talk about is Pirates hasn't really been getting the ball rolling on this Ahri. Because with Ahri, you're trying to get these picks, you're trying to look for these side lanes, but nothing has been working so far. And Lucian, every single time, is able to dodge that charm and instantly go in with the Gale Force and take them out, making it a 4 versus 5. So there need to be some big changes coming out from Jacinto in the next fight to turn this around.
Yeah, absolutely. They are a bit up against it now. Down about 5,000 gold. They are able to get an objective bounty on that top tier 1, so that is something. A little bit of more money onto Pirates. But yeah, this Ari has not been having a great game so far, as that is a hook onto Matt. But Edward, got to be careful here. Is the team ready to follow up on this one? The depth charge onto Fangirl. It's Scarecrow over the wall with the Spark Surge. But Zoe, is looking for the play. Will find the Trouble Bubble onto the Ari again. That will dissuade any further pushing. And look at those side lanes, Zathos. So it's the 3-man in mid. They're even looking to turn around. This fight is so much damage. They're going to get the kill onto the side of skill, forcing in Paste. Looking for more. He picks up the kill. It's 3v5 in the mid lane. And it's going to be Polymorphed winning out with the numbers disadvantage, while the rest of the map is completely in their favor as well.
And the engages are just not landing for Jacinto today, because in this top lane, they missed engage after engage after engage, and now they just can't seem to land anything. Just the dodging skills coming out from Polymorph are right on show, and it's really bad for Jacinto. They are going to lose the mid inhibitor, going to lose the bot inhibitor, and they are hunted for even the base.
Yeah, I think they might even be losing a little bit more than that. Zathos, as the Nexus turrets are under fire. The first one will go down. Respawns starting to come through for Jacinto, looking for one last stand around their last Nexus turret, but that Nexus turret is going to fall, and so look at all that damage. Nautilus is going to get completely obliterated. Sia trying to flash wave to the Lee Sin will also get cleaned up as Reset City for Viego. It's going to be one more ace to close out the game. Scarecrow doing his absolute best to survive, but it's not going to be good enough, Zathos. 27 minutes. It was looking so good for Jacinto for so long. They were fighting back so well, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. A couple of really big team fights for Polymorphed, playing so much better, so much more coordinated towards the mid game, towards the late game, and in the end, they're able to clean it up very convincingly.
Yeah, you could just tell by how many stacks this Zoe has at the end, having 25 on her Medjais, showing how much of a turn that game really had at the later ends. But we have to give props to Jacinto, a team that has not won a game yet, really put a fight to Polymorph. At the start of this game, I was thinking Jacinto were coming away with it. However, some engages, some crucial fights did not go their way. They weren't able to hit those crucial things they needed to win this game. So it did allow Polymorph back into this game. And it just all came down to top lane. Just Magic really well played, keeping your team in it and not dying as much as you could have.
Yeah, Magic playing a very, very good weak side on the Aatrox, able to soak up an incredible amount of pressure. And then when the team did eventually rotate to support him, was absolutely in position to set them up for success. You know, even looking at the itemization on the Aatrox, ended up going for the Frostfire Gauntlet and the Black Cleaver, as you pointed out earlier as well, knowing that he wasn't going to be snowballing this game, that he was not the carry, that his job was just a front line, so he needed to be as tanky as possible, needed to survive for as long as possible. Magic absolutely knowing what he needed to do, and then getting it done. Really, really excellent to see. And like you said, also on the side of Jacinto, they did have a surprisingly good performance, I think, here in this game, almost entirely off the back of this new jungler. Sia Majda on the Lee Sin was all over the map in that early game, making so many plays happen, trying to get them an early lead, and was successful in finding a little bit of an early lead at least, but in the end, obviously, it just was not enough. Definitely some great performances across the board for Polymorph. Who do you think was the most standout player? Some really impressive KDAs, honestly.
Well, I really have to bring this game down to two players. Fangirl, amazing Trouble Bubbles, hitting them for almost every single fight, I swear to God. Even as well, Matthew in the spot lane hitting some incredible bubbles on their own front. But I can't talk about those two. We need to talk about this top lane. Magic coming in clutch, being down 0-4, able to pick up 2 kills and really changing the tides of this game. Tanking up all of the engages coming out from Jacinto. And because nothing landed, just allowed his team to win everything on the opposite side of the map and get his team the win.
I like it. I like it. Personally, I would look towards Fangirl. You know, the Zoe pick we really weren't sure about coming out of the draft, but Fangirl was absolutely smurfing in that mid lane 1v1, landing, like you said, so many trouble bubbles, and even, you know, one more itemization point before we go to break. forcing Pirates towards that Banshee's Veil. Such a defensive item, but Pirates feeling like just needed that survivability to survive all of the skill shots coming out from Fangirl. Either way, an excellent performance from Polymorph in this one. We'll see if Jacinto are going to be able to team fight a little bit cleaner around those objectives in this second game. That is where things really seems like they fell apart for Jacinto. Still, of course, looking for that first win. We'll be right back, guys, to see if they can do it. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ready for our Game 2 draft. Teams just preparing still, but should be getting into that relatively shortly. We will, of course, be swapping sides for this second game. So we will see Jacinto over on the blue side, Polymorph taking up positions on the red. Besides the different side, what other changes, Zathos, do you think would be appropriate to come out from Jacinto in order to give themselves a better chance in the second one?
Have you ever heard of something called point and click CC? It's like quite strange, like a Malzahar, maybe even a Pantheon, they have a point and click CC in one part of their kit. That's what I think Jacinto needs, because they had such great opportunities at the start of the game, winning in bot lane, winning in mid lane, and winning in top lane as well. But you know what? A few skill shots did not land for them, allowing Polymorph right back into the game. So yeah, that's really what I would change. I would also maybe be a little bit more cautious on picking, or well, allowing this Aatrox through again, only because of how powerful it did seem to be against them. But except for that, I think they'd mostly stay around about on the same comp. They have a really good chance of winning.
Yeah, Magic's Aatrox could be worth a look potentially in the banning phase. They do also, of course, have first pick, so picking it away could be another option. Not sure if Zombie Boss plays the Aatrox or not, but that definitely was an issue for the side of Jacinto, as you pointed out. And point and click CC, I think, would make a lot of sense as well. You know, we sort of did actually like Jacinto's composition in the previous game as well. We did think that one was easier to execute on compared to what their opponents had put together, but apparently not easy enough.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. But this game should be a lot more interesting. We also need to be a bit careful, because I've been hearing that if we ever talk too good about a player, they start to get a god complex. So we need to be a little bit careful how we talk about Simply Magic in the next game, because he did have a lot of support from his team to get him to be such a big powerhouse. But in the next game, I am still expecting Polymorph to be on the front foot of their team, but their players have just been able to dodge just so many different skill shots, and I feel like they're just on the ball today.
Yeah, definitely. Polymorph, you know, they were a little bit shaky in the very early game, but that was really, I think we can chalk that more up to what Sia Majda was able to do for the side of Jacinto on the Lee Sin. And overall, I do definitely agree that Polymorph felt like they were very coordinated in that last game. They knew exactly what they needed to do to win, and they were able to execute quite well in the end. You know, able to finish the game in under 30 minutes usually is a sign that you are significantly outperforming your opponents. So we'll see if they're able to keep it up. You know, I think that was the expectation, of course, as we mentioned. Coming into this one, they are higher up right now in the standings. So I think, especially going into playoffs, you want to have a strong showing here against what people consider to be a weaker team going into that postseason. Make sure everybody's nice and afraid of you in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I'm actually really excited for the future of Jacinto, mostly because of their new jungler, Siama, with how well he did play in this early game, getting his team a really big lead, being 3-0 himself. Even though this late game didn't go the way they wanted, they still did get that lead. So can you really be that mad if you are Jacinto, if you're already contesting the top teams, when you're just basically a brand new team at this point?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that before game one as well. The fact that, you know, it is unfortunately a position where Jacinto is already out of contention for those playoffs, but they are in a great position to build towards a better showing in the next season of CWL, you know, especially with this new jungler having such a great performance coming in right out of the gate. That is definitely something to look forward to, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that at all. But next game should be coming on pretty shortly. Some of the power picks that I really do want to see through is this Jinx, because Jacinto, we know how good Scared Crown is on this champion. If he's able to pick it up with maybe something like a Enchanter as support, I think that's the way Jacinto could win next game.
Could definitely be the case. Jinx, I do agree, is very, very strong right now, and very good into the Zeri as well. So picking it early makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like a soft counter to the Zeri. You know, we do still see Zeri picked into it sometimes, but I do feel like Jinx has obviously the range advantage in lane, and then has similar hyper carry potential come late game. So I do really like the pick as well. It'll be interesting to see if they decide to go for it, or maybe if they feel like it was really more down to execution. You know, you kind of said it yourself as well, that if just a few more skill shots had landed, if they just played those team fights a little bit better in the mid to late game, then Jacinto could have easily come away with that last game.
Yeah, but if you are going to pick something like the Jinx, you need to make a team fully around it. Maybe something like an on top, something that's a little bit more defensive in the mid lane as well. And of course, you might want to ban the Lucian and Nami, mostly because they have just so much burst damage in this early game, and that's where Jinx is probably the weakest in the whole entire game. So it'll be interesting if that's coming through, as we are finding again ourselves into Champ Select.
Yes, indeed. See what these teams are going to be prioritizing. Basically, like I mentioned earlier on, it's going to be Jacinto on the blue side this time around. See if they're going for any kind of adaptations, if they are going to ban away that Aatrox, or if they're going to be looking more towards the play as the main thing that they're going to be changing up in this next game.
Yeah, there's so many different picks that Jacinto can go for. Site like Zybercon, I do absolutely love. But with first pick, a lot of teams have really been opting towards this Gragas if it doesn't get banned away. Because all of last draft, both Polymorph and Jacinto just left it completely wide open. Trying to do the whole entire draft, which I was very surprised about. Probably because none of these players really knows how to play it. But it just had so many great tools to get into the game. You also have the other picks like the Zeri, like we saw in the last game, which really didn't get up and running, mostly because of the team not getting a few kills on it, because that's the type of champion where it starts off slow but it just ramps up to an absolute incredible late game beast. As we do finally see Jacinto going for their first pick, and if they pick this Malphite, they are doing a clear statement of we want to do team fight, but instead they will opt for the jungler instead, going for the Viego.
So taking away the Viego from the side of Polymorphed. Maybe identifying that as one of the main issues, but the Zoe still available, the Aatrox available as well.
Polymorph, don't do it.
Still on the table. You know, the Nami has been banned away, so Lucian has lost quite a bit of value for paste. Probably not going to look towards that one again. The Cat is being considered.
Oh, thank God.
I think we would probably rather see the Senna. Yes, we're much happier about that, I believe, Zathos.
Yeah, completely. Senna can get paired with something like a Cho'Gath if they want. A really powerful bot lane duo, and they have decided to go for that. This is just very defensive, and if you're able to ever get a lockdown onto one of these main carries on Jacinto, you're able to absolutely burst through, especially with the chomp out of the Cho'Gath. An amazing counter does come out from Jacinto, picking up the Blitzcrank because of not pairing with the Tam Kench like usual with the Senna. Senna is a little bit scary to be on her own, so if you're able to hook her out, she's going to get absolutely bursted. And this actually works really well with the Viego as well, because if you're able to hook someone in, burst them out, you allow the Viego to turn into them and turn the pace of this fight. As we do also see finally Scarecrown on this Jinx.
Yes, indeed. We are going to see Scarecrown on the Jinx instead of the Zeri this time around, and a very different look for the bottom lane of Polymorphed as well. Definitely, I'm glad that you pointed out the strength of the Blitzcrank Viego combo. Definitely very powerful. And then the Jinx lock-in as well. I think we are big fans of this Jacinto draft so far. And the Senna Cho'Gath definitely can work as well. I think we're also pretty excited to see that. And going into the playoffs, it's good that Polymorphed are showing us a little bit of a different look. Some more things to consider for their playoff opponents in that drafting phase. But through the second phase of bans now, did have a lot of focus towards the top lane, of course. Junglers, I guess, actually banned away by the side of Jacinto, thinking that maybe that Wukong was a possible flex. But a couple of top lane options removed from Zombie Boss. It's going to be the Aatrox blind, and then the Malphite will answer it for Zombie Boss in that top side. Syndra for Pirates in the mid lane this time around. And now the R5 counter pick for Fangirl. What are they going to go with into the Syndra?
I actually really would like a LeBlanc here. It just has great damage onto something like the Jinx, but instead opting for the Akali instead. And Jacinto, do I even need to explain how this team comp works? It is just clearly a we farm up and we get to this late game and destroy you then. However, I just have quite a few issues with going for something like this, because it just leaves so much priority in this early game open for Polymorph to get these early Drakes and to win these early fights. So if Jacinto doesn't get some of the early picks on Blitzcrank, it's going to be really difficult to get to this late game power spike. So for Polymorph, they really need to get the ball rolling.
Very true. You know, certainly I don't think the scaling is bad necessarily on the side of Jacinto, but they are against Senna, who does have ridiculously good scaling. And falling behind could be very, very dangerous. It is 4 melee champions on the side of Polymorphed. It's a very scrappy composition. And I think that they could certainly be looking to take control of this early game and not necessarily give Jacinto very many opportunities to get their composition online. You know, Jinx, we do like it as a good pick in the laning phase, a very safe pick, and it does scale very, very well, but not really all that powerful until she gets to that 3-item spike, right? Needs the Infinity Edge as well as a little bit of additional attack speed before the Jinx is really that hyper carry threat that can take over the team fights. So if the side of Polymorph find a significant early advantage for themselves this time around, I think things could be very, very dire for Jacinto. But they have the Blitz Crank, so they can look for some early play-making opportunities themselves.
Yeah, but with this Blitzcrank, there's not many champions you really want to hook into your team. I can only really see Senna as the champion you want to hook into, you're able to burst it out. Because if you get the Wukong, he's just going to Cyclone and get himself out with his clone. With Aatrox, you saw last game what happened when he got in front of the team. He does not die, he just holds up the whole entire path. Its HP bar, and Kali has to Shroud to get out. And do we even need to talk about Cho'Gath? That man does not die. So Blitzcrank needs to get Psych rolling in this early game and get these hooks onto Senna. Otherwise, he's just really not going to be that useful in these fights.
I imagine we'll have some kind of level 1, as is customary with the Crank, but we'll just have to wait and see. Overall, Zapdos, how do you feel about these compositions? Is it going to be Polymorph? Do they have the edge with their 4 melees and the hyperscaling Senna? Or do you think the Jinx pick with the sort of Crank wild card and the Viego takeaway is going to be enough for Jacinto to get their first Nexus?
Well, Jacinto have gone for an Exodia teamfight comp. They are trying to get to this late game, so it all comes down to if they can get there. But for me, I would have to say Polymorph take the cake for me, only because they have late game assurance in the center Cho'Gath, but have this early game dominance / mid game with the Akali, Aatrox, and Wukong being able to disrupt and engage fights whenever they want. But it's really going to just come down to what team is up for the challenge.
Yeah, Polymorph drafting themselves some really strong team fighting. Once again, Magic able to get his hands on the Aatrox for the second game in a row. Saw what he was capable of just a short while ago, and definitely has the ability to do it once again. Malphite, though, seems like a pretty good answer into the Aatrox. A very defensive option this time around for Zombie Boss. We'll see if they're able to get towards that late game. Don't go anywhere, guys. Cobalt Wins League Season 6. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Rift for our second game of the night. And of course, Jacinto on the blue side with the Crank. They are going to look for the level 1. It's going to be through the top side. We'll see if they can catch Magic off guard. This is the strategy we went for last game as well. They are going to get the rocket grab. Will land, and Magic knows he's just dead. Not going to flash or anything. Just going to allow himself to be taken for first blood. And it does go over to...
Guess what? Guess what? We saw a hook land already. I am ready for this game. Remember why Jacinto lost last game? If anybody doesn't remember, it's because the skill shots didn't land. Edward is already on perfect pace for getting these hooks up and running. Getting a first kill onto Simply Magic. And remember before, they weren't able to kill this Aatrox a lot, especially when they all came up. But now they've already killed him. I'm seeing a way where Jacinto just completely wiped this game.
Yeah, definitely. And getting Viego to snowball is exactly the recipe for success that Jacinto need. Taking a look at the replay here, and it's pretty straightforward. It's just 5-man into the top side, and Edward able to
look at
nail
this.
the hook. It's blind as well. Like, they didn't even have a ward in there.
Beautiful.
He just went for it. Nails it.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need, though, especially when it goes over to the Viego, getting himself a big lead in this early game. Because if I was a Viego and I get that, oh my god, I'm basically saying FF20 to the enemy team, GGEs. They still have a lot more to go to get themselves right in a good position. Luckily for Simply Magic, he did not use the flash in the top lane, so he is going to be very safe still. And when he's into a Malphite as well, he's going to be winning out top lane basically the whole entire time, especially when he gets his first item. Well, I'm expecting Black Cleaver to be coming out again, as he'll be able to get through the armor of Malphite just a little bit easier.
Yeah, would make some sense, especially, as you say, given the matchup. Speaking of the Jacinto jungler, though, do have to apologize. Our pronunciation on that name in the previous game was very off. Shemida, I believe, was what it was. If you could correct me if I'm wrong, there's Athos or production, I believe is Shemida, is what we have been informed is the actual correct pronunciation, as Jinx is in trouble down here, as the root does land. Scarecrow trying to flash away, trying to survive, but the flash follow is there from Pokeri, and it's going to be a kill back now over to the side of Polymorphed, as the rocket grab comes in. The last hurt shot is not enough to finish off the Senna. Matt even holding on to the heal there as well. And just like that, Polymorphed get a couple of kills for themselves. One onto the Wukong, one onto the scaling Senna's Fangirl. Was taking a bit of a beating in those early trades, but now a positive trade for the Akali. Definitely good news for Polymorphed in the mid and bottom side.
Yeah, really good Rupture coming out, getting themselves to kill in the bot lane as Yamada is looking for Psych here. He's actually in a really good position to try and take this. There is still flashes up for the Senna.
Maida should be able to land the Spectral Maw. Does get the damage down. Heal will now be utilized, though. Matt held on to it before. Now the silence. A lot of damage onto the Viego, but they're not quite able to finish him off, as Jinx and Blitzcrank were able to get back in time to defend their jungler. Zombie Boss pulled back by the chains. No mana on the rock. Simply Magic. Good look for Q3 here. Aatrox holding the flash. Not wanting to go over-aggressive in that top side. Already, of course, having been taken out once. not wanting to give over anything else. Simply Magic playing this very patiently.
Yeah, no, Zombie being very passive with his flash, something we'd like to see, because he still had to teleport to get back, so he shouldn't be in too much danger. And it all really came down to this bot lane play on just how powerful Senna and Cho are together, with how much CC they can have, because when the Rupture lands, you have the miss straight away afterwards. You can just CC them for just such a long time. And especially with a Wukong as well, who can get the clone down, bonk you twice, it's just a lot of damage coming out.
Absolutely right there, Zathos. That is the power of the Senna Cho'Gath. Able to provide so much setup for Wukong to be able to follow up on. That is, of course, one of the weaknesses of Wukong, is he's not very good at looking for those early ganks, doesn't have any setup of his own. But when you have Senna Cho'Gath in the bottom lane, they can absolutely provide that setup for you, as it's going to be Fangirl going in with the shuriken, flip the flash underneath the turret, he gets the kill, and he's not quite able to get out from the turret range, but it's an execute. Pirates wasn't able to do any damage to the Akali in that exchange, and Fangirl picks up the solo kill.
Yeah, Pirates using the flash, trying to get out there to safety, but the flash of Abdo himself gets it. Okay.
He goes back. It's going to be a flash away for Senna. Able to survive for now, but Paste is going to have to walk around the Flame Chompers. Cho'Gath, no flash, and the Rocket Grab will land, means that they can secure that kill. So Jacinto able to make a bot side play of their own. Scarecrow, though, has to be careful. Taking a lot of damage there, kind of for free from the Senna.
Yeah, it's Hook City, baby, for Edward again. Another hook onto Pasted, taking him completely out. Use the teleport to get himself right back into the lane. But this is exactly what we wanted to see from Jacinto, as Flashes top lane.
Oh, that was a close one for sure. Top laners exchange flashes. Malphite was not level 6 yet, so Magic thought they had a window there to go for the solo kill. Could not quite find it. Aatrox is very, very low, but the Diego is not towards the top side right now, so Magic will be able to safely back away after shoving in the wave, and has a nice, healthy CS lead for himself on that Aatrox.
Yeah, no, Aatrox doing really well in this top lane, just so unlucky with just slivers of HP left onto Zombie. However, his team is still winning around the map as Polymorph are trying to take their first dragon. There shouldn't be a contestation, and they're actually looking for this mid lane, but have been spotted on a ward, so it's overall a really good play coming out from Polymorph.
Yeah, definitely big news, able to secure that early neutral objective. Both the solo lanes able to play very safe, not exposing themselves to too much danger. Simply Magic gonna look for this. 1v1 once again. A Malphite going for the early plated steel caps makes a lot of sense, of course. For the Rock, means that the Aatrox going to have a little bit of a harder time looking for those all-ins, as that is going to be an all-in in the mid lane. Fangirl, the perfect execution, is there, and the mid diff continues in game 2.
Mid-diff for sure. Going from Zoe to Akali, two very different picks, but showing off the power as bot lane. Another hook lands.
That had to be a rocket grab that did come in onto the Senna, who is a little bit in danger, but the collapse does come in from Pokri as both junglers make their way into the bottom lane. Jemida very, very low on the Viego, is able to make it underneath the tier 1 turret. Looking for a potential turn once again, but with the jungler so low, I don't think there's anything you can really look for here as Jacinto. They're just going to have to allow Senna Cho'Gath to finish shoving in this wave. And it seems like Polymorph are continuing to win out in these skirmishes. Unstoppable Force, Zombie Boss looking for it. He should be able to get the kill. Simply Magic does have a little bit of healing. And the Malphite, no mana, but it does not matter. And Zombie Boss able to turn things around and get a much needed kill for Jacinto in the top lane.
No, if that Q3 actually landed on Zombie, we would have seen Simply Magic healing up enough to win that fight. And on top of this, his ultimate was so close, only a few seconds away. If he was able to get that world end, let's say the world would have ended for Zombie getting himself straight to that grey screen.
It would have, but it was not to be this time around. The Zombie Boss is able to get the better of him in that instance.
Yeah, no, completely well played from them. And it's actually looking quite even being 8 minutes into this game. Really well played from Jacinto, because remember, they are only, well, they're without a single win. And every single time they stay even, with a comp like they have, they're actually winning because they're able to scale up. Especially when you have something like a Jinx, Viego, and Syndra in this late game. They're going to be complete powerhouses.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, it seems like while Polymorph, they have been winning out for the most part. You know, they've been finding some advantages, but there is the scaling nature of this composition on Jacinto that does need to be considered, right, Zathos? They do have a very strong draft going into that late game. You know, Syndra and Jinx and Viego all going to be extremely powerful, and Malphite is going to get increasingly more difficult to deal with as well as the game progresses. Keeping our
Yeah,
eyes
but
out.
yeah, but if you have the Eclipse and you have a Black Cleaver, we can actually see Simply Magic in this 1v1. The burst to Senna's still in the top side, but
Yeah,
nothing will
we've got
come
him.
of it.
Because the Rift Herald is alive now, of course, so the support moving up towards the top. Ooh, just wide right on that rocket grab for Edward. Fangirl going back in, must have the Shroud, will use it now, and the Jungler is moving in as well. R2 still available for Fangirl, will use it to go in, but the Akali is going to get stunned up, and the Unleashed Power will finish him off, and that means a reset over to Shemida. The Shuriken flip, and the Viego's not going to go back in with the Stolen Akali because Magic had also made the rotation down into the mid lane. Polymorph bringing more members to the party, and while it is a 1-for-1, they do retain control over the map.
Yeah, no, and we actually see Paisley trying to contest for this red buff. I love it when the bot lane tries to roam up when Rift Herald is available. Mostly because you're able to get pressure for your team and you're able to help out whenever they need it. But it may have actually gone a little bit too far. Jinx using the
oh no, that's the flash over the wall. Paisley's just looking to have Jinx for lunch right now. It's the Rupture. Oh, it does land. That's going to be the kill for sure. It's actually Matt who picks it up with the Dawning Shadow. Now the Root's going to come down onto the Blitzcrank, and that is going to be the feast that will come through. Pacey going to get his meal after all. Shemida running out of HP. The Viego desperately looking to get a reset onto somebody, but he just can't quite find it. They're going to have to back away. It is the side of Polymorph picking up a couple more kills. They get Herald on the other side of the map. It's looking real grim now, Zathos, for Jacinto.
Yeah, Senna and Cho actually trying to get pinched there. His top lane is just consistently fighting.
The Rock! He's rock solid! One more auto! There it is! The zombie boss picking up another one. He's keeping him in it. This Malphite. Rock solid indeed.
Zombie the Rock Johnson in the top lane, getting themselves a kill. Very well played from him, but quickly talk about this bot lane fight, as I may not even get a chance, as top lane will not finally go for it. We should be okay.
I'm feeling alright about it.
When we're going against these teams, I feel like there's just going to be a fight every single second. But the only reason that Senacho was able to make that effective, because they were already getting pinched by 3 members, but because they both flashed over the wall, they were able to get on Scarecrown, who was all on his lonesome. Then after getting away that pick, it was a 2 versus 2. And when you're a Senacho, that is the best ground for you to be, especially when you get something like the Blitzcrank. It just doesn't have damage to deal with you.
Yeah, that's going to be an R committed from Fangirl. Look for the execution onto the jungler. Heartbreaker over the wall. And the follow will come through. Fangirl continuing to look for this one, but Shemida is prepared to counterattack, has the stun, but Fangirl has some friends, and that's going to be a route onto the Jinx. The Everfrost completed for the Cho'Gath means there's just too much CC. And the ADC for Jacinto cannot escape. Neither can the Crank. That's good scatter onto 2, though. Shemida gonna look for that reset. Will find it. Onto the Wukong. Is it gonna be enough? Fangirl flashed away. Now trying to stay alive and will successfully hang on to that health bar just barely. It's gonna be a kill going over. Another one, I should say, for Polymorphous Pirates. Desperately trying to get underneath this turret, but the Root's gonna come through in the auto attack for the finish. Matt picking up number 404 on this Senna already. Look at how much gold in the bank there. So I got comfortably 1,000 in the bank. Should have that mythic very, very soon.
Yeah, and having just so much, even having more gold than Jinx. And remember, Senna doesn't even farm in this lane. She's meant to be classed as a support, as they like to say these days. Dragon hasn't actually been picked up because they didn't have enough damage for it. So this is still going to be available. Pings are coming out from the Wukong finally, but it can get contested by the Viego. But I'm not sure if you really want to because they're only one Drake for it. And the only thing Jacinto has going for them is even if they're losing these fights, they can still win in the late game.
Yeah, and they are, in fact, going to contest this dragon. So looking to keep winning these fights, but Scarecrown is looking a little bit out of position as Magic coming in with the collapse. The Dawning Shadow over the top. And this Jinx just can't play the game. She just keeps getting taken out at the start of these fights. They cannot keep the Jinx alive. And Shemida now is getting dunked on. Simply Magic just waiting on the cooldowns. Dashing forward now. One more hit from the Darkened Blade. And there it is. Magic picking up his 2nd kill of the game. Zombie boss now. Oh, that was maybe a little bit over-aggressive with the blast cone, but Magic gonna be able to dash back over the wall. Dragon will be feasted upon by the Cho'Gath. Love to see it. Want to give over those objective secures to the Hunger of the Void, I believe, is Cho'Gath's title.
Oh, well, I think it is. They may even be hungry enough to get...
Oh, dear. Yeah, they are absolutely still hungry. Zath also the Unleashed Power, the turret shot. It is enough. Pirates gets the shutdown, but then burns down I'm not sure what that was that actually got the last hit. Maybe Matt has red buff or something, but
He does have red buff. So
there
the
it is.
story of this red buff was Cho'Gath actually had it on him from picking up a kill. But because Cho'Gath died, it gave it over to him. It was
Oh
a
man.
little bit of a outplay, but we can exactly see what happened in the bot lane yet again with the Senecho and seeing how powerful they are together. Because it's something that hasn't really been played much in the Cobalt's Wins League. As there's one rupture comes out, we can see the red buff is on the Cho, but because he dies perfectly thought out, he dies for his Senna to pick up the kill. Now that is some support gaming.
Absolutely, yeah. The support Cho'Gath played by the AD carry, exquisitely done by Paste. And Matt, that's 5-0-7 now on the Senna. Eclipse very much has been completed. And it's got a little bit of an extra dagger there as well.
Yeah, no, one thing we need to talk about is Senna going for the Eclipse straight away instead of going for something like the Umbral Glaive, which allows you to get more wards. I guess she just wants to get a bit more damage. She's meant to be the main carry. As we do see Viego going towards his bot side. 3 versus 2.
They're looking for a pick now onto the Senna. They're going to go. Their target selection is very good. They get a lot of CC down. They get the shutdown. That's the first death of the game for Matt. Very big pick for Jacinto. Might be a little bit too late, though. You know, they do get some additional gold for that. You know, the shutdown, the objective bounties, of course, available as well if they can actually look towards this turret. But Cho'Gath still feeling relatively healthy. Should be able to defend.
Yeah, I think overall that was a good play coming out from Jacinto, picking themselves up the center bounty, getting it onto the Jinx as well, which means she's most likely going to be towards that first item coming up soon. She needs to get herself to 2 or 3 to really get herself running, which is going to be difficult to do, especially when the enemy team already has 2 of these dragons.
Yeah, I wonder, we were just talking about the Senna build before the unfortunate death there for Matt. I believe the other option for Senna is the Kraken Slayer. Sometimes that is also purchased. Red buff is given over to the Wukong there. Fair enough, I suppose.
So the Kraken Slayer actually gets built when you're going against major tanks, like a Malphite, as we see in this game. But instead opting for a little bit more burst damage.
Oh, hang on now. There's Athos. We got another fight breaking out. Pokeri going in with the Cyclone onto 2. Viego flashing away, trying to stay alive. It's going to be the Blitzcrank who goes down first. And the Malphite will also fall as the side of Polymorph able to pick up a couple more kills. Herald number 2 looks like it's going to be next on the menu as the Shuriken Flip will connect over the wall. Pirates, yeah, that's so much damage already from the Senna. And it's still only 16 minutes in, dude. The Senna is going to be so terrifying.
Yeah, if we can quickly take a look at how many stacks Senna has. She's already got herself up to 66 stacks. Need to get herself to about 80 before she starts really ramping up. As we are going to quickly take a look at a replay, what really happened in this fight. And it's mostly just Jacinto not expecting a fight here, trying to look for a hook, trying to find a pick on the Blitzcrank, but he just did not know that all of Polymorph was there to support it. So Samada is coming as well. He's trying to be a 2 versus 1, but just right behind him, Wukong's coming in, and then with the Akali as well. Malphite tries to support the team, but it's just too little too late. Just doesn't seem like Jacinto on the same page.
So clever from Pokeri and Fangirl, honestly, there to go for that angle where they hopped over the blue buff wall and came up on those Jacinto frontliners from behind, making escape virtually impossible. And they were able to clean up the kills. They were able to get the second Herald. Still in the pocket of Pokeri. It'll be interesting to see where the Wukong decides to drop that one. We are going to have our third dragon coming up in just under a minute here, Zathos, and it will be a Hextech Soul this game, and with 2 dragons already secured for Polymorphed, they are feeling really good about that situation.
Yeah, and they've also secured themselves a 7k gold lead, and that's going to be really difficult to fight against, especially when Drake will be heading up in the next 30 seconds. But it's looking like they do want to contest this. 4 members are down here.
Yeah, I mean, they probably feel like they have to, not able to give over Hextech Soul, but Valkyrie is in there, is going to look for the Cyclone onto the Jinx, and it's the Syndra already down. Both carries, basically one shot right at the start of that fight. Viego going to get popped as well. Only Zombie Boss left. He's going to try and force his way towards safety. The last surviving member, not for long. It's going to be the clean ace, the 5 for nothing. And it's Polymorphed way ahead now.
Yeah, zombie just trying to teleport in, but when your main carries are dead, you're just a sitting duck for the team. And everything just went wrong where Pirates' E wasn't actually able to land on Fangirl, so he was able to dash straight back in. And with the Wukong as well, meaning the Scarecrow just instantly got bursted out Pirates not long after. So then the whole entire team just crumbled and died from there as they do get themselves to get the third Drake of this game.
Yeah, it's this one's looking pretty one-sided here, Zathos. We're gonna take a look at another replay, see where it all went wrong for our friends over on Jacinto.
Yeah, like I said before, you need to take a look at how Syndra used her E. Really good dodge coming out for Scarecrow, keeping herself a little bit safe. But you can just see Wukong just instantly dodges back into this backline. An amazing rupture coming out onto the Jinx, meaning she gets absolutely popped. And then Viego, because he has no one to get on top of and to kill, he just gets bursted as well. And you just have to plain old Malphite just crying, but like, where is my team? As the Shuriken lands and gets the final kill.
Yeah, Shemida, unfortunately, not even able to get close to a reset that time around. And when Viego can't get that initial reset, the champion does tend to feel very underwhelming, unfortunately. And it's just been the side of Polymorph consistently coming at these team fights from different angles. And it's looked really, really good for them. And that's exactly how you have to play this composition is, oh dear.
Pirates!
Pirates? Oh my god, this Akali is so fed. That's Rocket Belt Shadow Flame. He's looking for more. Yeah, he's a 1v4, actually. Here comes Cho'Gath, though, for a little bit of support. Vanguard going out, going back in, dancing around this fight, but will eventually be shut down. Now Shemida has the fed Akali, but I don't think he's going to be able to hang on to it for very long. The last auto attack comes through, and Shemida not able to heartbreak to safety in time. His own heart will be the one that gets broken. That's an unstoppable force. Does connect onto the Senna. It's going to be a lot of damage onto Matt. Not quite enough follow-up. It's going to be a lot of damage onto the Cho'Gath as well, though. It's going to flash away, try to stay alive. Oh, no. Oh, it looked good for a second there, but here comes Pokri flying out of the jungle. Takes out the Jinx. It's going to be the Root. Oh, it's insult on top of injury. Zombie Boss desperately trying to get up to the Senna. Will get the auto attack with the movement speed from the Q, but will, in the end, go down as well. Rock down. Did take out the Senna, though.
That was a man on a mission. Is that the new Impossible movie? I swear. Zombie said no to not getting a kill there. Was able to pick it up, but take a look at how much that Jacinto are losing. They're taking the Baron on the back of their Polymorph in a really good position.
Yeah.
As Akali, don't do it to him.
He's going to do it to him. He's doing it to him. Here comes the perfect execution. Shemida's here, though, and Akali's very, very low. Oh, the sidesteps. Oh, Viego's missing everything. He will eventually get the kill. The Baron has been secured by the Cho'Gath magic. This is very deep, my friend. He's got some healing. I don't know if he's got that much healing. He's going to give over another shutdown to the Jinx this time. So Scarecrow's picking up some extra money, but the Baron did go over, and they are going to retain that Baron buff on 3 of their members. So a little bit sloppy there, I suppose, from the Polymorph solo laners. Going a little bit deep looking for those kills, but it's probably going to be fine.
We call that a bit too much confidence, we have to say, coming out. But let's quickly take a look at the overconfidence, we'd like to say. But Akali going in, getting the amazing Shuriken in. Tries to go a little bit too far here, getting Pirates chucking him out to full. And just take a look, 1 dash, 2 dash, gets herself almost to safety, but just isn't able to. And Simply Magic trying to 2v1 here. But an amazing actual Chompers coming out from Scarecrow, keeping both of them safe, allowing Viego to come in, pick up the kill, which was a 700 gold bounty. Not bad at all.
Yeah. Definitely some very big bounties picked up there, but still the Baron did go over, and the gold lead is still extremely massive. But Paste is looking like they're in some trouble, looking for the feast, but it doesn't come through in time. And there is the reset for Viego. Senna's forced to flash away now to survive. Looks like the Senna will be able to escape, and we still have some time on the Dragon. But with the... Oh, dear, that's an unstoppable force over the wall. Zombie Boss, not quite able to find Senna there. I believe the Shroud... Oh, that's the flash for Viego as well, and is going to be able to lock down that kill onto Matt with the Heartbreaker. Very, very nice. Jacinto, they're not saying die just yet. Fighting back.
Yeah, Viego actually getting quite a lot of gold on the back there again himself. I would say around about 2k in that whole entire play against so many shutdowns, and getting themselves a mid lane tower as well, which does have a bounty on it, and this is quite a change of pace for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Jacinto with a pretty big play, capitalizing off a couple of mistakes from their opponents, but Zombie Boss, unfortunately, I think hung around just a moment too long, and that means that Fangirl will pick up number 9 this game on the Akali. Oh, and that's
So,
unfortunate timing on that death as well with Dragon coming up, Zathos.
yeah. Yeah, so Crewman, I told you about Exodia, and Exodia
Yeah.
is what they are trying to reach. They are only at 2 items. They need to get about 3 or 4. That's when we can really say the fights will be exactly in their favor. But they don't have enough time as we do have Dragon spawning in the next 30 seconds. No Malphite.
Oh, Cho'Gath, gotta be careful. You don't want to go too forward again. As I say that, Fangirl is going all the way forward. It's going to be a Rupture lands as Pirates does get taken out. And Fangirl in the back line executes the enemy jungler. And with no jungler, Soul should be a certainty. Oh, goes underneath the turret, has the stopwatch to drop the aggro. Fangirl should be able to get out of there. Scarecrow doing everything that they possibly can and should be able to get this kill actually onto Pokri, who went very deep to try and get his mid laner out. And now both junglers are dead. So Jacinto, still
Teleport
a possibility.
coming back out though. Yeah, Cho'Gath getting the teleport, meaning that they are still going to be in a dominate position. Look at this TP in the back.
Oh, that is a very aggressive TP from Magic, looking to pincer Scarecrow here, and the Jinx has nowhere to go. And now Zombie Boss all on his lonesome, very lonely rock, will be able to force his way to safety underneath the tier 2. Viego is alive again. A 4v4 on the map right now, but Wukong is going to spawn comfortably before the Jinx as Fangirl. Oh, careful now. Don't want to overextend again. They're already onto the Dragon. Cho'Gath has ult, so they should be able to lock this one down, I believe, Zathos. Yeah, no vision for the side of Jacinto. Is it going to be blind for Jamaida? It's Akali trying to buy all the time that she can, and Viego will Heartbreak into the pit, but it's just a moment too late as the Dragon had just gone over to the very hungry Cho'Gath. And that will be Hextech Soul plus 1 kill. Fortunately for Jacinto, Baron not alive right now, but that is a really huge for Polymorph to be able to secure the Dragon. So Magic pretty deep once again here. Could be going down. Looking for Zombie Boss. Super Mega Death Rocket flying by, and simply Magic. Oh my goodness. And the 1v3, Magic gets the double over the wall into the base. Now looking for even more. he just doesn't go backwards. This Magic
Feel
guy.
like Magic just understands one thing, and that is going in. This is why I love Zombie versus Magic whenever these two face each other. Because remember when we saw before, Senna versus Malphite? Well, can I really say Senna running away from Malphite, and Zombie just did not want him to go. And that's exactly what both these top laners love. Just fighting and looking for these engages onto any of the enemy teams. Now, it may be looking good for Polymorph, and it completely is. You aren't wrong about that. However, Scarecrow is picking up quite a lot of these buffs as maybe Viego's a bit caught out. Okay, he will get to safety. It's up to Scarecrow to really be turning this game around, because he's almost got himself to a 3-item spike, especially when he's got a little bit of armor pen as well. It's actually looking quite good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Scarecrow is getting to the point in the game where the Jinx is absolutely a carry threat, and we have seen a couple of times already Polymorphed slightly overstepping, exposing themselves to, you know, giving over some shutdowns, giving over some money. And the later we get into this game, the more costly mistakes like that do become.
Yeah, and this is where Jinx is actually a little bit stronger than Senna. Senna is at 100 stacks, however, has only got 2.5 items. And that's the only issue with playing something like the Senna as your main carry. Is in this little bit of a medium period between super late game and early game, called mid game, she isn't really the strongest. I know, how long did it take me to understand there's a thing called mid in the vocabulary of the UK part? But no, Baron is going to be spawning very, very shortly in the next 2 seconds. And it's looking like Jacinto just don't want to contest it.
Well, there's a reason that mid isn't in your vocabulary, Zathos, and that's because your casting is always well above average. So it makes a lot of sense.
You're going to make me blush, man.
What was that?
You're making me blush. My God.
Well, it's going to be the side of Jacinto also blushing as they get 3-man ruptured by the Cho'Gath, who will die. And that is a reset for Jamaida. Can he clean up this fight? Heartbreaker forward. Oh, the Heartbreaker is going to be on the side of the Viego once again as Fangirl comes flying in for the execution. And Edward's going to get cleaned up here as well. It's Fangirl once again in the mid lane. 13, 4, and 11 on the Akali. Just really an exemplary performance from the Polymorph mid laner in this one. I mean, once again, across the board, some great performances from these guys. And with another massive team fight win with the Baron in tow, looking like it is going to be the 2-0 for Polymorphed as they look towards the postseason.
Yeah, Jinx is 5 seconds away, so I don't think they're going to be able to stop it.
Game over. This one just about 1 minute faster than the previous one. Both games under 30 minutes of pretty comfortably for Polymorph, looking real good at the end of regular season play.
Yeah, no, Polymorph getting a little bit too confident at the end. They could have finished this game in
True.
under 20 minutes. So there's definitely a lot
What?
of things they can be working on. No, I believe they genuinely could have if they were able to
Under
cut
20
out a
minutes.
few of these mistakes. Yeah, because I'm not going to lie, the last 8 minutes was some people like to call a clown fiesta in the League of Legends game, with everybody playing a little bit more solo. So Polymorph trying to clean that up is the best thing they can do. Maybe take a look over at a few things there. But I want to give some big props to Jacinto. I understand they didn't win. I understand they still haven't picked up a win yet. However, they have given a mighty good crack at it, especially with their new jungler. As with having him in, it just feels like their early game is just a lot stronger. So maybe if they go for a few more team games where they go for this early game instead of late game, I think they could have some good opportunities. Maybe something like Zyra Khan is very strong in the meta, guys, something like that instead. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, there were definitely some great moments from Jacinto in this game. Particularly, you already shouted out the new jungler, who I think had a couple of pretty good games on the Lee Sin and then on the Viego. And Zombie Boss in this second game, I thought had a much better performance. I loved the Malphite pick into the Aatrox, and Zombie Boss played it very, very well, even able to pick up a couple of solo kills, I believe, in that top side onto Simply Magic. But, you know, it wasn't quite enough, of course. Really, I think the main difference between the two squads was really just felt like Polymorph had the superior team fighting for both games, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I had to give big props to Procreate on that mid lane pick, because the way we saw Akali play was very confident, we'd like to say, and it definitely paid its due diligence by getting quite a few solo kills and even going for a 1v4 and getting out with their own life.
Oh man, that was wild for sure. What do you think about POG for the second game there, Zathos?
Play of the game, like I said, they just really well played to every single member of Polymorph. It's going to be difficult to take a winner, but I would have to give it to Fangirl yet again, mostly because of how many fights they got to change around, or how many shurikens got put in these big team fights to get themselves to win.
Yeah, I thought Fangirl had another incredible performance in the second game, but also, you know, the Pokri shout out is very worthwhile. Was exactly in the right place in the early game to counteract everything that Shemida was trying to do. Made sure that the Senna Cho'Gath lane was going to be all right to continue scaling up, and was really solid in terms of securing those objectives as well, was the Wukong.
Yeah, Senna Cho'Gath actually been really powerful, especially with the rupture into the W from the Senna. It just made it where nobody could ever take a fight against him. Because if you ever get hit by the rupture, the amount of CC you had, especially with Wukong behind it, it was just really goddamn powerful. I think it was just a very good team comp, and it seems like Polymorph just know how to play the game together.
Absolutely. Well, we do have the MVP vote up in the Discord channel, guys, so please head on over there. Make your votes known, who you think was the most impactful for Polymorph in this dominant win over Jacinto. I believe, will be getting an interview as well, once again, with whoever wins that MVP vote. I'm just getting word, no interview, unfortunately, today, guys. But, of course, the honor of being voted MVP is still a very special thing. So do make sure you still cast those votes so that we can honor the strongest performer on Polymorph as voted by you, our lovely CWL community. But that is pretty much it for this one. Do you have any closing thoughts on this matchup, Zathos, or any thoughts on the end of Week 6 overall? You know, looking towards the postseason. This was, I believe, the last game of the regular season for Polymorph, if I recall correctly.
You are completely correct about that. And oh my god, I really want to cast next game for Jacinto, because they are moments away from getting their first win. I really think they are getting close to it. But no, overall, I just have to say that I'm really excited for the playoffs, because all of the teams in the top 3 is just so close. Because there's a lot of these teams that could maybe turn 4th place, maybe turn 3rd place, and next week is going to be super crucial for them. And the last thing I do want to talk about is our sponsor, In-House Q. Thanks again to them for sponsoring us, for really giving us the opportunity to make League of Legends such a great thing.
Absolutely. Much love to our sponsor, of course. Thank you so much for coming on board with us, and definitely a lot to look forward to in this postseason. You know, like you said, Connecting Esports, Polymorph, and CCG Muffins, all very strong contenders to make a deep run in those playoffs. So it'll be exciting to see what everybody pulls out for sure. Anybody who's going up against Polymorph going to have to take a look at their team fight and making sure that it is up to snuff, because they are going to need it against this squad. But that's going to about do it from us tonight. So from myself, from Zathos here, from the entire production team at the CWL, thank you everybody so very much for watching. We appreciate y'all very much. We'll see you next week for the last week of the regular season. And with that, good night.